The Australian football world is holding its breath for one of its most celebrated, iconic, and beloved legends. Tony Modra, the AFL legend affectionately known as Modra by fans, has been seriously injured in a devastating cattle truck accident that left the entire sporting community stunned and fearful for his life. The crash occurred on Thursday, June 18, 2026, around 5:20 p.m., when Modra's cattle truck collided with a tree in Back Valley, located approximately 10 kilometers west of Victor Harbour, south of Adelaide in South Australia. The 57-year-old was transported from the scene to Flinders Centre, where he is currently fighting for his life in critical condition. According to South Australia Police, Modra suffered fractures and cuts from the accident, and authorities have released a statement confirming the severity of his injuries. Tony Modra was born on March 1, 1969, in the Riverland region of South Australia, and from the very beginning, he was drawn to the world of football, to the sport that defined his life and his career. He didn't start out as an AFL star. He didn't become an overnight sensation. He started as a young boy in the Riverland who loved the game, who practiced every day, and who believed that he could make it to the highest level. He was not the kind of player who needed to be the loudest or the most aggressive to win. He was the kind of player who could win by being smarter, by being more consistent, and by being more patient than everyone else. That was why he became an AFL legend, and that was why fans fell in love with him. His breakthrough to professional fame came in 1992, when he made his AFL debut at the age of 23 with the Adelaide Crows, and after showing promise from limited opportunities in his first season, he exploded in 1993 to boot an incredible 119 goals and set the football world alight with his towering marks. He spent 7 years with the Crows and was their leading goal kicker in 5 of those seasons, winning a Coleman Medal in 1997, 2 All-Australian selections, and was named in the Crows Team of the Decade. He was traded to Fremantle in 1999, where he played another 3 years and 47 games, and was named in the Dockers' best team of their first 25 years. Known for his flying marks and bags of goals, Modra won the AFL Mark of the Year 3 times, Goal of the Year once, and is a member of the South Australian Football Hall of Fame. What made Tony Modra so special was not just his statistics, but the person he was. He was known for his flying marks, his bags of goals, and his ability to make every game feel like a story being told by a trusted friend. He was the kind of man who never stopped caring about football, who never stopped giving back to the sport that gave him so much, and who never stopped believing in the next generation of players. He was not just a player. He was a mentor, a friend, and a source of inspiration for millions of people around the world. He made every game feel real, made every competition feel important, and made the idea of sport feel possible. That's the kind of impact he had on his fans, and that's the kind of legacy that can't be taken away by tragedy, no matter how painful it may be. During his career, Tony Modra played 165 games in the AFL for both the Adelaide Crows and the Fremantle Dockers, scoring a total of 588 goals, including 440 goals for Adelaide. He began his football journey in South Australia's Riverland region before making his debut with the Crows in 1992. He was the leading goal kicker for Adelaide for 5 consecutive seasons and participated in State of Origin matches, earning the Coleman Medal in 1997. That same year, however, he suffered a serious knee injury during the preliminary final, causing him to miss the club's first AFL premiership. Upon his return, he was unable to secure a spot on the team for their second premiership win in 1998. Over his career, Modra achieved the AFL's Mark of the Year award 3 times, including once while playing for Fremantle. He concluded his playing days with the Dockers before relocating back to rural South Australia. Since retiring from football, Tony Modra has returned to country life and has a cattle farm outside of Adelaide. This is the very farm he was driving from when the accident occurred, and this is the very truck he was operating when the crash happened. Those words are not just about grief. They're about love, about memory, and about the kind of bond that can never be broken, even by tragedy. The confirmed cause of Tony Modra's injuries was a severe truck accident in South Australia, where his cattle truck collided with a tree in Back Valley. According to Ryan Daniels from 7AFL, who spoke during the third quarter of the Fremantle versus Geelong match, those familiar with the situation express optimism that he may recover, but his condition is currently quite critical. For fans, Tony Modra's legacy will live on in the games that defined a generation, in the goals that still stand, and in the quiet moments when they watch footage of his flying marks and feel like they're being watched by someone who truly understood the spirit of sport. He was not just a player. He was a companion, a friend, and a source of comfort for millions of people around the world. He made every game feel real, made every moment feel important, and made the idea of sport feel possible. That's the kind of legacy that can't be taken away by tragedy, no matter how painful it may be. His spirit will continue to echo through the decades, through the stadiums, through the broadcasts, and through the hearts of everyone who ever believed in the work he did. Tony Modra married Erica Jacobs in 2008, and they have 2 children named Haley May and Luke. In January 2012, Tony and Erica welcomed their son Luke Anthony, who was born prematurely weighing just 1.29 kilograms, 2 pounds 13 ounces, and spent some time in special care. Tony was a husband, a father, and a man who found joy in the quiet moments, in the conversations that mattered, and the connections that lasted. His family has been notified of the accident and is currently at his bedside, supporting him through this critical time. Tony Modra's net worth was not widely publicized, but his impact on the Australian football community was undeniable. He was someone who believed in lifting up the next generation, in giving back to the community, and in making sure that the people who came after him had the opportunities he had. That kind of generosity, that kind of openness is rare in the sport, and it is the kind of generosity that earns love, not just from fans, but from everyone who knew him. The AFL community has been flooded with tributes from fellow players, from coaches, from fans, and from people who grew up watching him play and finding inspiration in his performances. Some have shared stories of the first time they saw his flying mark. Others have talked about the way his playing made them feel when they were going through the hardest times of their lives. And still others have simply written that his spirit was the soundtrack to their lives. Those stories are not just about football. They're about the way Tony Modra made people feel, the way he made them believe in themselves, and the way he made them feel less alone. If you've ever been moved by Tony Modra's flying marks, if you've ever watched him compete and found inspiration in his performances, or if you've ever been touched by the way he brought so many games to life, take a moment to send your love and support to him and his family. Please like this video, and if you enjoy stories about the lives, legacies, and struggles of the athletes who shape our sports, consider subscribing to this channel. Together, we can keep sending our thoughts and prayers to Tony Modra, one game at a time.